I was reviewing quarterly reports when my phone buzzed with a message that would change everything. I need 1 week to think if you're worth keeping. No context. No explanation. Just a cold ultimatum from the woman I'd been married to for 6 years. Most men would panic. Most would call immediately, begging for clarity, promising to change whatever needed changing. But as I read those words again, something clicked. She wasn't asking for space to work on us. She was giving me an expiration date, like I was some product on a shelf she wasn't sure about buying, so I set my phone down and finished the report I was working on. 20 minutes later, I picked it up and typed back, "Take all the time you need. I'll be using mine productively. Send." Her reply came within seconds. "That's it?" "What's the question?" I typed. "You've made your position clear." 3 dots appeared and disappeared. She was expecting me to crack, to flood her phone with messages. But instead, I opened my laptop and started making some overdue changes. First stop, our joint credit cards. I called the bank and removed an authorized user due to separation proceedings. Within 10 minutes, her access was suspended. Next, I changed the passwords on our streaming accounts, online shopping profiles, and cloud storage. If she wanted to evaluate my worth, she could do it without using my resources. A few minutes later, another text. "What did you do to Netflix?" "Prioritizing my expenses during your evaluation period." "Are you serious right now?" "Dead serious," I replied. "You said you need time to think." "I'm giving you the full experience of what life looks like without me." This wasn't about revenge. It was about clarity. For months, maybe years, I'd felt like she saw me as a convenience rather than a partner. She'd dismiss my opinions, make plans without consulting me, and roll her eyes when I suggested date nights. So, no, this text wasn't random. It was the final step of someone who'd been keeping score, weighing pros and cons, calculating whether the benefits outweighed the costs. Well, now she could run those calculations with real data. That evening, I walked into the house, feeling strangely calm. She was in the kitchen, arms crossed, clearly waiting for the conversation she thought we needed to have. "We should talk," she said. "About what?" "About what you did today." "Cutting off my cards, changing passwords, that's extreme." I poured a glass of water. "You texted me that you're spending a week deciding if I'm worth keeping," I said. "I figured you'd want an accurate assessment. Hard to evaluate someone's value while you're still using their resources." Her face flushed. "That's not what I meant." "Then you should have been more specific." "Communication is important in relationships, or so I've heard." The sarcasm wasn't lost on her. She shifted, uncomfortable. "Look, I just think we need to figure out if we're right for each other. Things have been different lately." "Different how?" "You know what I mean?" "Actually, I don't, but here's what I do know," I said. "You sent me a text treating our marriage like a probationary period. You want to spend a week thinking about my value? Fine, but you'll do it honestly. No shared accounts, no joint benefits, no safety net." She just stared at me, probably expecting me to soften. Instead, I finished my water and headed upstairs. "Where are you going?" she asked. "To use my time productively, like I said." That night, I researched divorce attorneys. Not because I'd made a decision, but because a man who knows his worth doesn't wait for someone else to recognize it. My phone stayed quiet. No apology, no reconsideration, and for the first time in months, I felt like myself again. The next morning, I woke up early, hit the gym, and got back to my routine. Because when you know your worth, you don't let someone else's uncertainty derail your consistency. When I came home, she was already at the kitchen table, coffee and laptop in front of her. "Good workout?" she asked casually. "Always," I said, grabbing a protein shake. "I've been thinking about what you said yesterday," she started. "That's the point, isn't it?" I replied. "I think you're taking this the wrong way," she said. "When I said I needed time to think, I meant we both should evaluate where we are." "Interesting," I said, cracking eggs into the pan. "Your text specifically mentioned you deciding if I'm worth keeping. Nothing about mutual reflection." "Don't twist my words. I'm not. I'm just reading what you wrote." I turned to face her. "So, what exactly are you evaluating?" She blinked, thrown off. "Well, we've been growing apart. You're always working late. You've been distant. I got promoted to regional manager 3 months ago, I reminded her. The same night you got upset because I missed your wine night with the book club. Her lips tightened. As for being distant, I continued, I stopped wanting to hang out with people who spend entire evenings complaining about their husbands. Maybe that's just me. She looked stung. I plated my eggs, sat down, and said calmly, So, your evaluation period implies you're considering other options. Let's make sure you have all the data you need. I showed her my phone. I called the insurance company. If we separate, you'll need your own coverage, about $400 a month. Also check the mortgage. Your income won't qualify for refinancing, but your half of the equity could get you a nice apartment. Her eyes widened. What are you doing? Giving you accurate data for your evaluation. She stared at me, speechless. I also transferred half our savings into a separate account, I added. Seems fair since you're not sure if you want to keep sharing finances. You can't just do that. Actually, I can. But don't worry. If you decide I'm worth keeping, we can combine resources again. Now the color drained from her face. The power shift was complete. This is crazy, she said. I wasn't trying to threaten you. Then what were you trying to do? She couldn't answer. Because we both knew the truth. Thursday night I walked in to find her cooking dinner with another man. Hey, honey, she said brightly. This is Derek from my yoga class. I invited him for dinner since you've been so focused on work lately. A test. Obvious. Nice to meet you, Derek said, smiling too confidently. All good things, I hope, I replied. Though given the week we're having, I'm not sure what story she told you. His confidence flickered. We exchanged small talk, and I made sure to mention, loud enough for both to hear, that my wife was currently evaluating whether I was worth keeping. The silence that followed could have frozen air. Derek looked ready to vanish. 5 minutes later, he made an excuse and left. When the door closed, she exploded. You humiliated me! No, I said calmly. I was honest. If that felt humiliating, maybe you should think about why. Her voice cracked. You're not the same person I married. You're right, I said. That man would have begged you to stay. This one knows better. Friday morning, she tried again. Damage control this time. She'd written notes. Had her arguments prepared? I handled this wrong, she said. I just wanted to fix what's broken. You mean by putting me on probation? No, I just wanted to know where we stand. Well, now you do. I laid a folder on the table. Inside, bank records, screenshots, photos, a full timeline of her behavior. She looked horrified. You can't be serious. Dead serious, I said. You wanted to evaluate whether I'm worth keeping. I spent the same week evaluating whether I want to be kept by someone like you. Her voice trembled. Are you divorcing me? I'm prepared to, I said. The papers are ready. All they need is my signature. Her face went pale. Over one text? Over 6 years of disrespect disguised as doubt, I said quietly. Saturday, the intervention, her mother, sister, and best friend showed up. Ready for war. You can't just end a marriage over a misunderstanding, her mother said. I smiled. Interesting. When your daughter sent me a text saying she needed a week to decide if I was worth keeping, was that a misunderstanding too? Silence. Then I told them about Derek, the yoga dinner, the tests, the manipulation. By the time I was done, her own sister said quietly, I think we should go. I nodded. Probably best. Because tomorrow's her deadline, and I've already made my decision. I placed the divorce papers on the coffee table. If she decides I'm worth keeping, that's fine. But I'm not sure she's proven she's worth keeping me. Sunday evening at 7 p.m., she came to me, eyes red, voice trembling. I've made my decision, she whispered. I want to keep you. I know I was wrong, I just didn't want to lose us. I listened. I believed she meant every word. Then I picked up the divorce papers. The moment you sent that text, I said, our marriage changed. Not because of what you decided, but because of what you revealed. Please don't sign them, she begged. For 6 years, I thought I was married to someone who chose me. But this week, I learned I was married to someone who evaluates me. Tears streamed down her face. I can change. Maybe, I said, but not with me. I signed the papers, calmly. I'm not angry. I'm not hurt. I'm just done being married to someone who treats love like a performance evaluation. She broke down completely. What am I supposed to do now? Whatever you want, I said. You're free to find someone whose worth you don't have to think twice about. I packed a bag and walked out, leaving behind not just a house, but the version of myself that ever begged to be kept. Because when you finally know your worth, you stop waiting for someone else to see it.